Hey, what's up? Just want to thank you guys for watching our channel. Please hit that subscribe button. That Game 7, was that the best game you've ever been a part of?
Yes, and also one of the most stressful games I've been a part of.
Describe the stress. What do you mean by stressful? I can intuitively understand, but what does that actually mean? How does that manifest itself?
I would say when you look back through that series, skip 1 through 4. You get to Game 5, we're up. KD goes nuts, wins the game for them. We win that game, we got a better chance to go back home and finish the series with not a lot of pressure. Now we have to win 2 games in a row, knowing that this guy can go off and do what he does again and what type of answer we're going to have for him. So luckily we win Game 6. Game 7, I think the pressure for us was there just because it's like, okay, if we don't win this series, we don't advance to the conference finals, what happens to us as a team? So I think that was on a lot of our minds going in, which is, it sucks to say, but I think it's the business of it. It's normal. Like, nobody wants to have a team that is always there, but not crossing that line, not even getting close. So I think we were in that position until we won Game 7 and then got past Atlanta and then went to the finals. So, yeah.
It's interesting, I think, that you sort of touch on that. The stress of being in a series and knowing there are consequences. Look, are you going to lose your job? Are you going to not be paid? No. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. All of that. But the consequences of being a championship contender, a really good team, and not being able to get over the hump, coach gets fired. They don't bring someone back in free agency. They trade a guy for someone else. We've reached our peak. We're going to go young. We're going to build through the draft and break this whole thing down. I mean, I'm glad you said that, because that to me was always the stress, is like, we're not going to have this group together.
Yeah.
I think about that series, or not that series, but that championship run. And I always think in basketball, winning is so hard, and you can sit there and play 4 rounds of 6 or 7 game series and play 24 to 28 games and come out a champion. And oftentimes you can point to like 3 plays of the thousands of plays that will happen in a championship run. And I'm curious to hear if there's anything I'm missing here from that championship run. But the 3 plays I always think about are the KD toe on the line at the end of regulation in Game 7. The Giannis block on Ayton, which was one of the most ridiculous plays I've ever seen in my life. And then the Drew steal on Book that leads to the Giannis lob and one on Khris. Those 3 plays, they go the other way, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you aren't champions. Having been through that, and we'll touch on the 2022 season with Boston as well, but having been through that, having been through a bunch of playoff runs, what have you learned about winning a championship? What has it taught you?
One, that's tough. Like, to actually win it and go through it, and you look back about all the ups and downs, thinking you could be out. We were down 0-2 in 2 series, that playoff run, knowing that it's not over. So it's going to be tough as hell. One of the toughest things that you've done in your life. I think one of the second things that I learned about winning a championship is you have to be in shape. Like, your condition, your endurance, and your strength has to be at an all-time high. You can't have any weaknesses. I feel like just in your body or your game as you advance, just because it just gets tougher and tougher and tougher. So I think those are the main 2 things. And, of course, health. Health is the one that we haven't had the last 2 years, which is, it's unlucky. You have to be lucky to win a championship also. But those 2 things are something that I look at all the time and think about.
100%. 100%. The year you guys won, you actually had an amazing finals, 24 points a game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, as I mentioned. And I think I probably talked about this on the podcast at the time. Like, a lot of the closing actions went through you and Giannis, right? It was that low side pick and roll on the left side, or the DHO out of like the V2 action up top. And you had a great series. He ends up having, a 50 ball to close him out. Championship parade, PJ's drunk. The moments after, the days after, you remember what you were feeling? Do you remember what was going through your head? Does anything stand out? Does anything really stick about what that was like after the fact?
I had a kid a day after the day next day. Next day we won the championship. Next morning, had a son. 2 days later, me and Drew on the plane to go to the Olympics. So it was a lot going through my mind. I was happy as hell we just won, but now focus reshifted to, all right, my son's here now. And then two, like, damn, my son's here, but now I have to go to Tokyo for the Olympics, which I was excited about. My wife was telling me, like, can't pass this up. We'll be fine here. So it was just a lot of emotions, a lot of things going through my mind, which really has been one of the best years of my life and one of the best weeks, months, however you want to say it, just because it was success after success after success, which has never really happened to me.
Shout out to your wife, man.
Yeah, no,
she sounds amazing.
Yes.
God.
She was the.
I don't know if I'd get away with that.
She was the one that's like, this doesn't come up often. Like, you have to do this. This is something that's going to be great for you, great for us. And we're going to be proud whether you go and whatever happens, but you need to go.
I can't remember how Drew answered this question because we had him on a couple months after the Olympics. Was the plane ride awkward with Devin Booker?
Nah, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't awkward. We were all on different sections anyway. I mean, Drew's not the bragging type. I'm not the bragging type. And we need to have D-Book on our side. We got to go.
So it's
not like we're going to.
You're not talking shit. Yeah.
No, like, D-Book is a real cool guy.
Oh, he's the man. Yeah.
Real good competitor.
Yeah.
So nothing but respect for him. So, I mean, when we saw him, it was like, what's up? Good to see you again. Let's get on this plane. Let's go try to win this one over here.
You said different sections of the plane. What the fuck was this? A Global Express 6000?
It was a nice plane. Didn't pay for it. But
Ballmer's plane?
It's a nice plane.